it meant anything goes. Anyone could die, anyone could fall in love, anyone could die, anyone could fall in love, anyone could die, anyone could die. Age of Apocalypse.
Concept was so cool.
Age of Apocalypse.
Concept was so cool.
People couldn't believe it. They had to believe it. People couldn't believe it. They had to believe it.
Everything that you hit on the known level. Out the window. Everything that you hit on the known level. Out the window. Everything that you hit on the known level. Out the window.
I'm Jeremy Greer.
And I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, the podcast where Gary and I are covering Age of Apocalypse, the 90s crossover sensation. We have covered a bunch of issues. Number 1, we are on to Factor X. Gary, how you feeling today? How you feeling about some X-Men right now? What's going on with your X-Men feelings?
I'm feeling still good about X-Men. I have not been reading a lot of X-Men because I've not been wanting to get ahead on the series. But I think that Hoxpox is finally on Unlimited.
Ooh,
so that's been on my, I think so. So that's been on my radar.
Interesting.
To read. I could be wrong about that. So don't depend on it.
Don't yell at Gary on Twitter if it's not.
If it's not on there, at Plumberduck.
Yes.
So I'm feeling good about X-Men. Always feeling good about X-Men. I like this comic. I like how many twins there are.
There's a lot of twins.
Like twins, you will like this comic. It's all twins, man. There are 4 sets of fucking twins in this comic. Sinister's got a fucking fetish.
I was playing Breath of the Wild recently, and I don't remember if you've ever played that, but
yeah.
So around Breath of the Wild, there's these stables, and around the stables gather various NPCs, and I had kind of noticed it too. At one of them, like there was just like several sets of twins running around, and like I was just kind of running around talking to people and like seeing if they had quests or whatever. And then this person was like, I talked to this NPC, and she was like, "Do you notice that there's like a weird amount of twins around here? I think I'm on a jet." And I was like, "Yeah, girl, get the fuck out." Very charming game that is.
Yeah, gotta stay away from twins. I am good friends with somebody who has an identical twin.
Mm-hmm.
I've mentioned that before. It is real fun and weird to hang out with them. I like them both. And it's super strange because they look the same but with different haircuts and stuff, but they also have the same voice. Ooh. And that always surprises me because it's like, of course they do, right? Like it makes sense. I never thought about it before. And they have entirely the same voice. It's very weird.
I don't think our friends over at the Short Game Podcast, Reagan and Shane, are twins.
Yeah.
But listening to that podcast, it's really hard for me to distinguish the two of those guys sometimes. Like I get it.
They are twins.
They are twins. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm 99% sure of that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm only doubting it because you just said that they weren't. But if you had asked me without saying that they weren't, I would have been like, yeah, they're twins. So you know how that is.
100%. Yeah, I agree.
So, twin time. But I'm doing good. How are you doing in general?
I'm doing well. We're in kind of a, like, despite the podcast and doing comic books, we're in kind of like an X-Men media drought. Like they delayed, once again, they delayed that New Mutants movie, and there's no news.
It's only going to get better with more time in the hopper, man.
It's going to keep going. Like there's a special effects guy that is like, yes, I can get the perfect fire that I wanted.
Got my quarantine project.
But yeah, like there's no new movies. The big thing was Hoxpox, and I really liked Hoxpox. I don't really understand it. Like I need to like go back through it with somebody to tell me what happened in that, basically. Yeah, no movies, no TV shows, nothing really happening with X-Men stuff. So it's kind of a bummer, man. Like I want more X-Men media in the universe.
Yeah. I will let you know, Paul O'Brien, who does as one half of the comics podcast I listen to, which is called House to Astonish, has been doing annotations for all of the new Marvel House of M, Powers of M stuff. So, and if anybody, like that guy's read every X-Men comic that's ever existed, I think literally. So he is the one to do that. I'm a big fan of him anyway. So not to tell other people to listen to other comics podcast, but if you listen to True Comics podcast, Make it this one House to Astonish. It only comes out like once every
Make it
6
House to
weeks.
Astonish and Explain the X-Men.
Yeah, just make it those two. House to Astonish barely counts. It only comes out like once every 2 months.
Yeah.
But I like those guys. Yeah, we're talking about Factor X.
Yes.
As we're going through our number ones.
We have Cyclops, Havoc, Dark Beast, and the twins, Jean-Marie and Jacques something.
Yeah, North Star and Aurora.
Yes, North Star and Aurora. And like this all looks appropriately grunge 90s edge. They're standing on some barbed wire and skulls. Like we're doing some good work already. Like we know what we're in for.
Yeah, this is dark.
Yeah.
We got a new artist and writer team on this. This is Steve Epting doing the pencils, which I'm not super into. It's okay. It's very like 80s house style.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like this does not look like it updated too much for the 90s, honestly. And then the writing is John Francis Moore, who I mostly know from I think he wrote the original Moon Knight run, which I read. And I know he did some X Factor in general, and I have some affection for him. I like this comic in this series, but he's not like a huge fan of John Francis Moore. He's okay. I think he also wrote X-Men 2099, which I do have a lot of affection for.
Yeah, me too.
Like, if we ever want to just do like a 1 week, like the opening arc of that, like the 3 issues would be a fun little thing. Because those comics I have, just because it was so exciting when that came out.
Dude, 2099. That's a cool fucking year, man. That's a cool year.
my one of my really good friends still has it's his email address is his name 2099.
Perfect.
Yeah, because of
that's
that.
a good
I'm
Twitter
like,
handle
dude.
too. Now that I'm thinking about
it, dude.
Yeah,
it's I have a lot of affection for X-Men 2099. I bought I don't have it anymore, but I bought from eBay a complete run of.
Oh, nice.
And read it like 10 years ago and stuff, and it's not good. Like it's only nostalgia good. It's not like stands up good, but it was still just like, man, Skullfire.
Skullfire.
Crystal.
Super
Streak.
dope. I love it.
Yeah. Bloodhawk.
I have 2 long boxes of comics that I've been carrying around since I was 13 years old through every place that I've ever lived, and I think I'm finally ready to give it up, Gary. I think this is the year that I'm just gonna be like, somebody please take these fucking like bagged and tagged comic books off of my hands, because I've never. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should like open them up and go read them and then like see if I like them or any of them, and then like just try to get rid of all of them, because Jesus Christ, why do I still have them? I don't need them. Like if I wanted to read any of that bullshit, I could just open up an app on my phone. So I got rid of all my old comics like quite a while ago. And I don't regret it. So be free. Speaking of being free, yes. We got a team of real miscellaneous characters. They don't mind dying. Escaping from the gigantic eyesore White Castle that Apocalypse owns. And I think the big thing we need to mention before we get into the action is that this is all narrated by Sinister, which I think this lends it a I don't know what the word I'm looking for here is, but like it's credibility. Maybe
it's a little bit more credible. It's not just purple narrator.
Yes.
It's a point of view character we don't get very much. It's a character who's actually like pretty interesting in the Age of Apocalypse storyline because he's heroic by comparison.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he's a villain, but the overthrow of Apocalypse, Mr. Sinister is instrumental in that. Yeah. You know, and that's something that always, that's something that's a big part of like Executioner's Song and like a lot of the different crossovers from the 90s is that like Mr. Sinister is definitely a villain, but he's a moral science villain.
Yes.
So he will, he's not willing to give up everything in order to do evil. You know,
and we're going to start out with a team of a ragtag team of mutants escaping the pins. But you can already tell that they're already arguing with each other when one of them suggests that they could leave one of the injured mutants behind because they're slowed down, and they're like, "No, we're not going to do that. We're together for better or for worse." And then, of course, when he says worse, our group of evil guys show up. So. Yeah, this is it, and it's full on 90s. Cyclops has a motorcycle. That's pretty dope.
I love that. Like him and Havoc get motorcycles since North Star and Aurora can fly.
Hell yeah, dude! Super good.
And everyone is super evil except for Cyclops.
Yes.
Cyclops is like, hey, you guys should surrender. everyone else is like, I hope they don't surrender. Why bother talking? Kill them, just destroy them. This is, a group of team of characters we know, and they're just characters we don't mind if they die.
Yeah.
So this character with the eye patch here, I think this is Callisto.
Yes.
Or not Callisto. I'm sorry, the Morlock. The Morlock who has the eye patch. Who some of these are Morlocks. So it's it's Avalanche.
Referencing her as Tasia, but I
Tasia is the one who's sick. That's Fantasia.
Oh, okay. Well,
the one with the eye patch is somebody else.
Okay.
Cyclops names are later. But we also have Pyro Avalanche, and 2 Morlocks. Basically.
Yeah. I like the Pyro in this because Pyro, when he uses his powers, he actually physically burns himself. But he's like,
because Xavier died.
Yeah, because Xavier died.
It altered his genetic code.
Oh, good job, Xavier, man! You really did a number on these guys.
It's so weird.
It's so fucking weird, dude. So it's just a fight scene at this point. Like Havoc's taking care of Pyro. Cyclops is going to chase the eye patch lady whose name we can't remember.
Yeah, we'll find out in a moment. Toad is there, and he's known as Newt in this version.
Oh, like the witches.
Yeah.
Like witches use and toads. Yep. Okay. That's a stretch, guys. That's a fucking stretch.
You know what newts don't do? Jump. They're just lizards.
But in a world that is absent of Charles Xavier, Toad gets named Newt.
Newts jump like... Actually, it's because newts jump. There probably are no toads in this world because of Charles Xavier. So North Star backhands them. They're being cruel. North Star and Aurora, they're horrible. They say Aurora's like, I'm going to kill... or Fantasia's like, just kill me. I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
To the pens, and she's like, I'm not going to kill you. We're going to dip you into genetic soup.
Yeah. The beast, specifically the beast, took everything from Fantasia, so like not good. And she looks like she's like crying. She's got scars all over her face. Like she's not having a great time.
Yeah. Cyclops runs off to catch not Callisto, and so her name is Artemis.
Yeah.
And her power is camouflaging herself, so she doesn't stay hidden. She materializes and kicks. We've seen her in the cartoon. She was one of the Morlocks who like went up against the wall and became camouflaged, if I remember right. But they get into a fight. Here, her calling him out, like, you're one of, Sinister's lapdogs. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction. Cyclops is still kind of being an okay guy. I don't want to have to hurt you. Like, he just wants them to come peacefully. Because Cyclops' arc during this whole thing is that he is, kind of willfully deceiving himself.
Yes. Yeah.
Through this whole thing.
Very much like, I don't want to have to hurt you kind of vibe from Cyclops here, which seems really weird when you're on a murder squad employed basically by Nazis. Like it's kind of
exactly.
You're like top 10 Nazi guy, and like, I want to make sure you're okay for when we put you back into the human pens. You
wish it was the human pens. It's a soup.
Oh,
we're gonna dissolve you to make a we're gonna dissolve you, and he's just this whole Cyclops' arc during this storyline is him coming to terms with the fact that he's being a goose stepper and doesn't like it. Yeah. She was going to pull a knife, and Havoc kills her.
Yes.
And they kind of talk about this a little bit. Havoc says, like, Apocalypse's first law is survival of the fittest. I'm sure you remember that.
Yeah.
She would have killed you with this. You're getting soft.
And then we go to the Statue of Liberty, which has been placed with a enormous statue of Apocalypse, because why
very
not?
Funny.
Super good. Also, the statue is home to a science base, because why not? It's super funny. Like, hell yeah, dude.
Sinister lives in Apocalypse's head.
Fucking great,
and
dude.
looks out through the eye thing. It's very funny.
So good.
Yeah. Looking out, he's monologuing to himself, talking about his history, after years of manipulating the development of a handful of mutants and secrets, I have enough resources to engineer the evolution of mutant kind. But Apocalypse is going to destroy it all by goading the humans into nuclear war.
Yes.
So basically, explaining his motivation, like why he is betraying Apocalypse.
I want to control the gene pool. Like, I want to be like the dominant force on this earth, but I also want there to be somebody to dominate.
There has to be an Earth.
Yeah, it's a low bar. there has to be an Earth.
Apocalypse, you fucking moron. And
also, have we seen Sinister, like, with all of the metal stuff on him in this? Like, we haven't seen this design yet, right? Like,
we have. He's in X-Men Alpha.
I thought he must have had like pants. Arms. Yeah, he must have had pants on because I didn't realize the metal went all the way down. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's just at home doing Zoom calls with his twins, so he doesn't have to wear pants. They can't see him from the waist down. You know?
Sure.
So he just pulls up the twins folder on his Skype and pulls everybody up.
You don't want to get the twins folder on your Skype and the twins folder in your porn folder mixed up. You know what I'm saying? It can be very bad.
Twins1.jpg, twins2.jpg. So cuts over. He's kind of going through his different crew, and we're being introduced to the cast of this book, which is like surprisingly large. For this dealing with this is the book that takes place behind enemy lines, and we're getting all of our heroes that are villains. The Statue of Liberty is also a prison. I think this is the same place where it's showing the human pens here, and we're seeing the Guthrie twins taking them out, including a new Guthrie twin. He talks about Cannonball. Cannonball is here, and then Elizabeth Guthrie, who is like a giant man.
Yeah.
A megamorph.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I always like
people
she
appears in. I like when people can get big too.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is in the regular universe. I don't know if Elizabeth Guthrie shows up.
Yeah. And these guys, you mentioned it earlier, but these dudes are giant assholes. Like they're super mean. Yeah. They just want to kill humans all the time, and we need to show them where their place is, things like that. And Cyclops is not really like when Cyclops and Havoc shows up to this. Cyclops is not really into this. He's like, we are negotiating with the Human Council, and Cannonball is like, fuck that. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, we're here to kill.
Yep. Cyclops is the only one who wants to follow the rules. Like, it's amazing he hasn't gotten fragged. He's like Principal Skinner with his Vietnam troop. He's like, I got shot 5 times in the back. Weirdly, it was at a Bob Hope, USMC show. And after Cyclops leaves, Alex says, like, keep your droogs in line. There's a lot of little bits of slang. And Cannonball is like, do we have to take that? And Alex says, Sinister made my brother the head of the EMF. He outranks us for now.
Yeah. And this takes us to the Beast layer, where we get some information on Hank McCoy, whose experimentations kind of caused his mutation to get radicalized, whatever that means. But now he is devoted to science, and, quote, he works unencumbered by the moral dilemma of human vivisection. So evil science guy experimenting on humans and mutants alike, also keeping a pet coyote, I guess. Is that what that is?
I know what it is. It's got copper hackles. It's lupine, so it's dog-like or wolf-like. I have no idea what his weird pet is. Havoc shows up as he's dipping the prisoners they caught into the goo.
Yeah.
To make goo. He mentions, like, are you experiencing any separation pangs from your unfortunate transporter mishap?
I love it. Do you miss the sentinel hand that was up your butt? Is what he's asking.
Yeah. And Havoc is here to kind of test the waters with the idea of him taking over. He's like, what do you think about Cyclops? Like, what do you? My brother seems preoccupied lately, and his reflexes are dull, and his judgment is impaired. And B says, hypothetically, I'd support whoever allows me to continue my work, but you should remember that Sinister holds your brother in high regard. Yes. Like, just a classic Beast, like, being above this, but saying, like, be careful. I'm not going to back you, but I would support whoever lets me keep doing evil.
Yes.
Basically.
So we're setting up a little plot here for Alex and Scott to argue with each other and fight a lot.
Yep.
Cyclops is still, like, kind of on the hunt to go talk to Sinister when he runs into the Bedlam brothers, people I don't recognize from 616 at all. So, like, maybe this is a limitation on me, but these are two guys
they're from it. One of the guys was Bedlam. He was in X-Force for a time. The other one was a villain. I can't remember where they were, but these guys are, like, late 90s X-Men stuff. Like, they barely appeared in early X-Men. This might actually be their first appearance.
Oh, weird. Okay.
And then they made their way into their regular universe. I could be wrong about that, but I associate them with later X-Force. These guys are cool. Like, I like their power. And I like that they're not total shitbags.
Yes.
Like, they're the only two people here other than Cyclops who are not just absolute monsters.
But they're also like soldiers, right? Like they're just here to like drink, hang out with women, and do whatever it's told they're being told to do. Like, that's it.
Yeah. Somebody with flexible morals can do well under apocalypse.
Yeah.
And they're fully enjoying that. And they're horse playing.
Yes. They are the good brothers. They are the brothers that have a relationship with one another.
Yeah. And Cyclops is of course jealous.
Yes.
They gladly die defending each other. And Cyclops chides them. They say, "Hey, why don't you come to heaven with us? Like we're going to Angel's Club to go party tonight. You could use a night on the town."
Yeah. And of course it's Cyclops, so he's like, "No."
Nah. No, I'm going to go check in with Dad. I'm going to see what Dad wants. It's been a while since Sinister was very disturbing in our last conversation. I haven't seen him since. That conversation was in X-Men Alpha. And he goes to the lock that Sinister has, which is a brain with an eyeball on it.
Gary, I know you're not really into like smart home stuff, but they've had all these video doorbells and stuff. Like, I would let Amazon sell me a disembodied brain with an eye on it so that I could if I could just, because it's like scanning for like sinister brainwaves, right? Like that's what he says. Like, it only it allows specific brainwaves to be in, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I like one UPS guy, he's allowed. The second guy, fuck that dude. No USPS mailman.
Jeremy's going to buy a brain with an eye on it from Amazon because he's no longer tethered by the morals of human vivisection.
I'm not. No longer tethered. Jay is here. Wait for the podcast to change, everybody. I am no longer tethered. Podcast is going fucking crazy.
No longer tethered, Jay and Miles. This is great. He's arguing with the doorbell.
Because it's fucking Cyclops. He has to argue with this like disembodied telepath doorbell.
Yeah. And Sinister has a great line here. It's like, "I told you once, my grim son." This is very
grim
funny.
Son. Fucking
my grim son. You did not realize I was telling you goodbye. You don't realize I was setting you free.
Yeah.
We cut over to heaven, which we've seen before. This is Angel's nightclub where humans and mutants are allowed to party together.
Yes. Havoc is there on some personal business that is not really explained, and really before anything can start happening, a human fanatic shows up and starts shooting the place up, interrupting the singer Scarlett McKenzie, which sounds like an Amazon $1 softback heroin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And this is Peter Gyrick.
Yes.
Who shows up? Who's a human supremacist? Which, like, give it up, man. Like,
I feel like at this point, I guess, you know what? Good on you for keeping it real. I guess, like, I don't.
Yeah, I suppose. It's rough stuff. At this point, and he's about to murder everybody here, and the Bedlam brothers stop him. They use their powers. He starts talking. He's in mid kind of conversation. His brain gets scrambled. He starts saying nonsense. And his gun dissolves with a onomatopoeia, treblamp.
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 God, don't you hate when you're trying to shoot somebody and your gun just goes treblamp?
This situation's gone treblamp.
It's like that old Lonely Island song. This is not treblamp though.
Yeah. This is where we learn the Bedlam brothers' powers. One of them can cause mental confusion. The other one psionically rewires and destroys machinery.
Yeah.
So cool.
Good pairing.
Power set.
Good pairing.
Good pairing. Yep. And this point, Scarlet is like, we just got a terrorist attacked. I'm going to take this as my curtain call and say goodnight. She goes back, and it turns out she's been having an affair with Havoc. She's a human, and this is a huge scandal.
Yes. Yeah. Later, when they show back up at Apocalypse's crib, they, like, the three of them, the Bedlam brothers and Havoc, are all showing up, and the Bedlam brothers, like, kind of mention that, of like, hey, we would be here a little earlier, but Alex was backstage with Scarlet, and Alex is like, you need to shut the fuck up, is what you need to do. Get my name out your mouth, Bedlam.
Yep. If you're implying I was involved with a flat skin, we all know the penalties for miscegenation.
Oof.
I also like it how the other Bedlam brother is like, uh-oh, Dad's still awake when they see Cyclops.
Yeah.
That's very funny. I love that. And he's just like, I take my duties seriously. Like, is his answer. I expected you back hours ago. He's basically saying, like, I cannot get into Sinister's lab. Havoc's saying it's no big deal, but he's like, no. I'll take full responsibility. Use your powers, Bedlam brother. I can't remember which Bedlam brother is which. Mental Bedlam brother. Use your psychic power to scramble this Amazon brain lock.
Yeah.
So we can get in and find out what's going on in Sinister's private chambers.
which has been destroyed. And Cyclops says, and I think the narration confirms from Sinister confirms that he did this. Sinister did this himself. Like he destroyed all of his equipment and abandoned them.
Yeah. And Sinister in his thing, he says like the fuse is lit. Apocalypse awaits the explosion. It shows Havoc saying like, I'm going to take advantage of this now that Sinister's not around to protect you. We're going to fight. An auto-destruct sequence is engaged and it blows up.
Yes.
There.
This is the head of the Apocalypse of Liberty statue.
Yes. The Apocalypse of Not Liberty. The Statue of Slavery.
The Statue of Not Liberty is actually really funny.
Yeah.
What if he just changed the plaque?
Yeah. And that's the end of the issue. The next issue we're going to be dealing with this explosion in the pens. People are going to try to escape while Havoc and Cyclops are not on each other's side.
Yeah.
And Havoc tries this coup. So pretty cool. Like cool little, nice little dramatic situation, self-contained little dramatic situation set up here.
Yes, very much so.
Which I like.
I'm actually like, I posted like the website I was using as kind of a reading list for this in the Slack, and someone said like it's really hard to go through these just with the number ones to get a feel for them. But I'm actually like super enjoying like this feels like a grab bag of crazy shit happening in the X-Men universe right now, and I'm really kind of digging it.
Yeah, I like it too. I like jumping around.
Yeah,
here because they do start intersecting. Wolverine and Jean Grey start showing up in Factor X, I believe. Those titles kind of merge. A couple other ones do that I can't remember exactly how they do, but it does make sense to read them a little bit in publication order, I think.
Yeah. And we're gonna try to keep doing that too. So yeah.
We're gonna keep with the publication order as best we can. But nothing's stopping you if you want to read ahead.
No. Get after it. Go for it.
Yeah. Go for it.
Right after you go to Patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv and give us some cash. I almost fuck it up. If you go to Duckfeed.tv/Patreon, it does work. I confirm that.
It does.
It's a redirect, but yes.
It does work.
Yeah.
And we appreciate everyone who does that. If you're unable to do that, please leave us a rating review on Apple Podcast or tell your friends about it. We appreciate all of that stuff. And we just appreciate you listening.
Absolutely.
So,
very much
other
appreciated.
shows on the network.
Yeah.
Watch our YouTubes, all that stuff. All of your support means a lot to us in these trying times. So.
Yeah. And we'll be back in a couple of days to start out with X-Man #1. Everybody's favorite man, X-Man.
The most confusingly named of all these.
Oof. It's going to be weird, Gary. It's going to be weird. Thanks for listening, everybody. Talk to you later.